All right, gang, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday by Brilliant Directories, tips to grow your online community. It really is great to be with everyone here today. It's one of my favorite times of the week, and we got a great presentation for you guys today. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am Jason there on the left, and we are lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist and really the key player who helps put these webinars together. Thank you, David, for taking the time to join us in the webinar.
Of course, glad to be back with everybody for another webinar.
I always like to mention, if you're not already part of our Facebook group, it's a great way to continue the conversations in between Webinar Wednesdays. You could take a moment right now and head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and join us in the group there. We'll be waiting for you. And also, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. You know, Webinar Wednesday is a great channel for us to talk about some of the new features in the platform and how you can utilize them to help your community grow a bit faster or manage it a bit more efficiently. So some topics that we can cover, or related topics, are how to kind of increase your website traffic, converting some of your visitors to members, so kind of how to create good offers and landing pages on your site. One of my favorites is improving your site's navigation, clear calls to action, and really funneling your users to the pages and places you want them to go really makes your job a lot easier and helps with conversions. So if you have any questions on any of these topics or related topics, we'll try to get to as many as we can in just a short bit later on in the webinar. Okay, and before we get started, most of you who join us normally know I have a slew of BD Lab updates to share. I've kind of minimized this list of the new features and updates for this webinar because the second and third points here, the landing pages for post types and creating lead capture forms, I want to spend a little bit more time on how that works and kind of give really quick and short tutorials on what you can do with those new features that are now available to everyone. But first, let me jump into the first one here. It is related to streaming widgets. Over the past few webinars, we've been making some design settings available for your website's streaming widgets. This is just a small one. It's an aspect ratio update. The aspect ratio is if the streaming widgets on your homepage will show as a square or a rectangle. And let me kind of show you what this new aspect ratio will do. So the streaming widgets are the additional content that display on your homepage. You can choose to show different post types on the homepage. So the aspect ratio is exactly what you're seeing, the shape of the image, or basically this area that will display. So this is the standard one. It's 16:9. It's kind of like a YouTube video size, and it is a rectangle. So let me show you where you can change those sizes and what this new 4:3 aspect ratio is. So to control that, you want to head on over to Settings and Design Settings. And this cluster of new streaming widget settings are in the homepage layout, and for now they're in the homepage search settings. So scroll down in this module and you'll see a cluster of settings here for the streaming widget options here. What we're referring to is the image aspect ratio, and let me just show you the stark difference. So by default it's the rectangle, and let me set it to a square, and I'll save these changes. And what I'll do is I'll actually open a new tab so we can compare the different aspect ratios side by side and why you may or may not want to use a particular size for your site. So let me just duplicate this tab. Okay, great. So this is the square size. And let's just look at the difference here. So we have, we're choosing to show 4 on a row in this example for the classifieds. In this case, it's showing posts without an image as well. So we can quickly and easily see that it's changed from a rectangle into a square shape and then there's 4 slots available here. If we continue scrolling down, even these two, we could see that there's 2 on a row and it's making it a square size. Let's save it as the 4:3, which is still a rectangle, but this one, it's not as skinny. It's a little closer to a square, but still a rectangle shape. So let's duplicate this tab again. Okay, great. So we can see here it's not exactly a square, but you can get a little bit more height from the images. Just go back here. We can see, if you look at the red car there, you get a little bit more of the image in this case. So there is no right or wrong answer of which one to use. Kind of depends on what aesthetic you want for your site. and also, in my opinion, how many items you're showing on a row. So you can choose between having 2, 3, or 4 items listed on a single row, and that might help determine what aspect ratio you want to use for your homepage. All right, this is a pretty big one because it's really going to help enhance your SEO and actually deliver a better visual experience and put things into context better for your visitors. So now you have the ability to create, at least add a hero section and unique content to the landing pages of your different post types, and even for each individual category of that post type. And I'll show you some examples of that right now. We'll continue using this demo site. Let's just use the coupons as an example. So this is a post type. It's for coupons and deals. And this is the page that we're all used to for a post type. You have a sidebar if you have one, and then you have the results on the left or right-hand side, which is fine. But you have a few options now. So you can do this directly in the admin, or if you have the admin pop-up window, you can always click on Create Static Page. What I'll do in this example is I'll go from the admin panel. Let's start on our dashboard. And what we can do is go to Content and add web page, edit web pages, and we'll add a new web page here. So we're going to do a couple things here. First, I'll give it a nickname. I'll call it Coupon Homepage because it's kind of the landing page for my coupons. And then what you want to do under page type, I have a couple more options here than you guys, but what you want to do is change this to post search results. Okay, it's going to be a post search results page. And you'll notice a couple things happen right there. One is the URL option went away because that's already predefined. In this case, my coupons are, let me see here, it's / coupons. So I don't have to re-enter that. I'm already going to assign this static page, the post search type, to a specific post type. So if we look a little lower here, we see linked post type. So now I can choose what I want to link this static page to. In this case, I'll do coupons. And then you can take it one step further. You can target a specific category or just apply it to the main page, which in this case is the / coupons page. I'll just apply it to the main page for now. And then what you can do after you've done this is, of course, you can add content here if you need it, but you can add a hero section. So we'll enable the hero section, and this will allow us to put a nice image at the top, give it a special title, and so on and so forth. So let's do that. We'll just do a few settings here. I want to make the colors white, and just for time's sake, I'll choose a background image. Obviously, you can update one that relates to the post type. You can add one that relates to the post type. I'll just use this dog here for now. And I'll add a H1, so pet discount coupons, browse coupons to save on pet goods. And we'll go ahead and save the changes. So now we have this post type. It's linked to the coupons and only applies to the main page of that post type. So if we refresh this page, and again, I'll open the tab here, I'll duplicate it. So we can see here now we have kind of like a hero sections just for this, and we can use those hero page options here to control the, for example, the color here. I left it gray by accident, but you can choose the font color, H1 and H2. You can add additional content for this section. Again, this is really good for SEO. So find pet coupons and shop discounted pet deals, etc., whatever you want to say. And then also what's important is you can then further, instead of it being powered by the default SEO template, you can add a unique meta page title, keywords and description, and also social share. So if you wanted to add like the image that's used when this page is shared on Facebook, you can certainly add that, and it will be unique to this post type. So let me just save these small changes here, and we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, we can see that this font is a little small here, so let's just update that. We'll do font size 20 and the content right there. So here's the hex section content in addition to the titles. and we'll go ahead and refresh that. Great, so what's really cool about this, again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but now you can head on over to the different post types and the main pages and add different hero sections. So let me show you the second part of this is now you don't have to apply it to the main page. You could apply it to a specific category. So let's say you had a post type for products and one of the categories was furniture. You can then repeat this process and create a hero section just for the furniture products category on your site. So if I save this target category, category 1, great. So if I refresh this, it's not going to work here anymore because it's not assigned to the home page. However, if I look for a category 1 post, which I have right here, and click on category 1, I now have this hero section that I created here. So you can add a lot more depth and richness with regards to content to the post types that you have on your site. So that was the one big thing, and it's pretty cool that we can do that now that easily. The second thing is an easy way to create lead capture forms. So, lead capture forms are basically what power the internet. There isn't a website you go to that doesn't ask you for your email address or signing up for their newsletter. If you go to e-commerce sites, they're like, give us your email for 10% off today. Yes, I want this. No, I don't like saving money is the second button. So they're really cheeky with how they want to kind of get your email address, but really lead capture forms are how the internet is powered. People sign up to things, people subscribe to things, and you can certainly do that with your Brilliant Directories website as well. Up until this point, if you wanted to create a new form on Brilliant Directories, you'd kind of have to start from scratch. You'd have to, start creating the basic fields that you want to capture, name, email, phone number. You'd also have to connect it to the database you want to save it to in Brilliant Directories, which is really complicated and really no one wants to deal with that. So just quickly create a lead capture form. But now it's really easy. So let me show you guys how you can do that. So let's backtrack. Let's go to the dashboard. And let's say you have an offer or you're doing a contest or you want to create, just an open application form and place it on a landing page you've created on your site. So now it's really simple to do that. Let me show you how. Go to your toolbox and go to Form Manager. And this site doesn't have any custom forms right now, but all you have to do is click this blue button and click on New Form. And we'll just call this Application. All you have to do is give it a nickname and then the system name. The system name can be the same as the nickname, just no spaces. That's basically the only thing. But you can give it a system name, a variable name, and a nickname and save your changes. And honestly, you're done. You've created your new form. It has a form title, has a name, an email, phone number, etc. But in effect, we've created this form, and it will save automatically to your form inquiries when you place this on a public page on your site and people fill it out. Now here's the cool part. It's really easy to add this form to a public page on your site. Basically anywhere that you see a text editor in the admin area, you can use this form and embed it there. So the quickest thing to do, and this was something new we added also, you'll notice this button here. This is a copy to clipboard. It's going to copy this short code, form equals test. So you just copy that. It says copy to clipboard. Now I can go to a web page and essentially drop it in anywhere I want. So let's actually do that together and create a new web page and do this together. So we can click new web page. And what I'll do is I'll actually create a table here and do something cool. I'll just pop it on one side and say, join our website, apply to join with the form on the right. And we'll make this like super big, bold, and size 48. And let's give it a URL, test application. And we'll just leave it right there. I'll give it a nickname also, test application. Okay, so we have a landing page. We're using a title on the left, form equals test on the right, and let's view the page. Okay, great. So now we have this page here. Again, you can add additional fields of information you want to collect, but right now we're going to start you off with at least these 4 things, which are basically, I mean, you could remove or add whatever you want, but you don't have to start from scratch anymore. And of course, you can change what these things are. So let me just quickly save something here. I'm going to say, I was doing some tests before. This is the webinar live. And we'll save I'm not a robot and submit a message. So once that's submitted, there's a welcome. Your message has been sent. Thank you. And if we go to the form inquiries now, we'll see, we can see I just created that page that was submitted on the test application page. It's really good data here. And we can view the full inquiry as well. So here it is. This is the webinar live. And what's really cool is, let's say you have a contest running or applications or something like that. In case you didn't know, you can filter by form. So in this case, it's the test form, test application. And you can also export all the inquiries with this button up here, and it'll give you an Excel export of all the fields that were inputted and some additional metadata of the user. So you can easily, if you're running a promotion or campaign where you're collecting email addresses from a landing page or form, you can not only collect that information, it's easily saved in the form inquiries area. You can also export those inquiries with the click of a button. So it's basically, in a nutshell, how you can add forms to a landing page. Just click on the new form button here, and essentially you're ready to go. Some items that are coming soon. The landing page for post types were something that I was mentioning in the previous webinar, so of course that is now live. Create and savings member smart list, dynamic member smart list that you'll then be able to assign in your newsletter campaigns. A slew of security items are coming out, including the ability to force log out a team member, an admin account from your site, and an easier and seamless way to invite existing BD admins to your site. So maybe you're working with a developer and they already have an account in the BD ecosphere. You can easily invite them to your site as a general user. And then also a cool one that's going to be adding, it was a recommendation in the Facebook group, the ability to add images when you're having private member chats. When you have the private member chat add-on, right now you can just send plain text. I think it also supports emojis, but you'll be able to also include images soon. And then also moving subcategories under new top-level categories very easily with a simple interface, and a lot more is coming soon. I always like to take some questions. Let me lower everyone's hands. If you have some questions about these things that I kind of went over quickly here, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
We actually had 2 good questions sent in. One of them was about those, when you create a new lead capture form, where can you access those leads or those form submissions in the admin area? And could you then match those leads with your members just like you could with the normal get matched form?
So that's a really good question, and I think that was my mistake in using the word lead. So BD has an entirely separate system for managing leads of people that want to contact your members or get matched with your members. In that case, what you want to edit is your get. There is a special form just for that then is tied into this whole lead mechanism in the admin. I believe that form is called the get matched form. Let me see here. Yes, it's this form here, website lead form get matched. Now with that form, you may or may not need to edit it. If you want to collect new data besides the member's location and the categories of members they want to be matched with, there are some settings under lead settings where you can turn on and off some fields. So like display the location fields. Do you want to capture the person's location who's filling out this lead match form? And then also some category options like display category fields. Let me show you what that form is by default. If we go to a member's profile page, so let's click on John Smith contact now. So this is the default lead form, and this is the form that's tied into the matching mechanism. So that would be the form that you want to edit if you wanted to tie into the the matching system of the platform. What I was referring to for lead capture is, again, like if you're running a contest or a campaign, or maybe you're offering an ebook and whatnot, and you want to collect someone's email address, those kind of leads is what I was referring to for the site. So I hope that answers that question.
Excellent. I think that clears it up. And then one other good question referring to the new static pages for post categories. Could you also do that for member categories?
Yes, and let me share you. That was the first thing we launched. That was a few months ago, and let me find the article and video on that. Here, how to add SEO content to location and category member search results pages. So essentially what we call like pretty URLs, you can create and do the same thing for those member search results pages. And really it's the same process. The main difference, and I can show you quickly, is what you want to do is, instead of post search results as the page type, what you would do is choose member search results as the page type. And in this case, you can put the URL. It just has to correspond to one of your member category URLs. So in this case, it could be like sample category. That's one of these categories here. And then you can follow the same logic with the hero section and the page content and whatnot. And you could just save your changes. Okay, let's see if I hope that answers that question. And we got one hand up here, Eric Butler. How you doing, Eric?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Good, good. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, great. Really like the updates, so thanks a lot for doing those. With just the comments that you're making on the landing or the lead matching forms, I really need a way to allow a member or a member level to select a different type of lead form, because we're catering to different types of businesses and brands. Not every a single lead form, the questions don't match with some of the companies on the site.
Gotcha. That's a very good question. What you can do in that case would be something like this, Eric, and this should work for what you need. If you search for that, I think it's bootstrap _ get match. So if you search for this website lead get match form, etc., click on customize, and then add your new field here. I always like to just make it simple, like a single input. What's your hair color? Something like that, and then you could do hair color. So what you can do is, this is your main bootstrap get match form. So if you add this here without changing the system name, it's going to apply to all your members. So let me show you something you can do, what you can do instead. So let me just save this real quick. And when you save it, maybe give it a new variable name, like the membership plan or something like that. So it could be hair color as an example. Okay, so here it is, the bootstrap theme hair color. I'm just gonna, it could be more elaborate, but just very quickly what you could do is this: copy it to the clipboard, and let's say you want this on the sidebar of members of a certain membership level, because that's what you could do very, very easily without too much customization. You can go to you can go to Widget Manager, just create a new widget. I'm just gonna pop this in here, form equals get matched hair color, etc., etc. And then from here, so now that form is in a widget. So anywhere you render this widget, it'll render this form. And then the last thing, well, there's two more steps. You can create a sidebar, and you can create a new sidebar, and you can call it for, you get where I'm going with this now.
Yeah, totally. So, okay, yeah, I didn't even think about putting it just in a sidebar.
Right. So you could do like pro plan sidebar. I'll just finish the process for those watching, and then just drop this widget as part of that sidebar. So we have pro plan sidebar, and you can have whatever widgets you want in there, but we'll drop this widget, get matched hair color widget, and in that widget is the form equals, that get matched form, and we'll save the changes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then the membership plans, your premium plan, you can choose the sidebar that shows on their profile pages, profile page sidebar. In this case, we'll do pro plan sidebar, and and then we'll save the changes. And we should have that form there in the sidebar for them. Yeah. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, no, totally. No, that's great. I'll definitely implement that. Thanks a
Justin.
lot.
Thank you, Eric. So good stuff there. More updates coming down the line. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to David. Dave, you came up with this really great tip of the week, how to increase your membership sales. Obviously, everyone wants to increase their sales, make their members and their customers happy. And I think you've done a great job in this presentation identifying a few key actionable things. Some are easy, some require a little bit more work, but when you put it all together, I think it's something that everyone can get some value out of. So I'll pass it over to you, and please share the tip of the week with us today.
Thanks. Yeah, we got 4 tips in this tip of the week. We've discussed most of them in prior webinars, but we're kind of thinking about them a little bit differently, utilizing them a little bit differently in these tips. So we'll go right into the first one, which is utilizing a live chat feature. We've discussed live chat before in these webinars. Typically, prospective members, when they come to your site, there's pretty standard questions they'll be asking, or at least asking themselves. Do I need this product? Do I want the product? Is it worth my money? Or is it living up to what everybody's saying about it online, the testimonials, if you have a Facebook group, or, are the people in there, what they're saying, is it all true? Is this company trustworthy? And most importantly, if I do purchase this product or service, this membership, how will it really benefit me? And most of these questions, because you can't easily anticipate them, you can answer most of them either in advance on your join page or in your FAQ. You can do this all either by or within the content that you're posting and you're sharing on your website and social media, on your join page where you're explaining the different features and benefits that come with your various membership plans. And then also, if you have an FAQ page, you can answer more of these specific questions and concerns that people might have, address them individually, and maybe clear up any concerns that they may have prior to signing up. Now, with that being said, we can't anticipate all questions that everybody would possibly ask us. And so that's where having a live chat functionality on your website could come in handy. There's various ways to go about doing it. We've discussed live chat a lot in previous webinars. They're a great platform. I believe it's livechatinc.com is their website. We also have the Facebook website chat add-on, which essentially adds a live Facebook Messenger chat to your website. So that integrates with Facebook. Some people might not want to do that, and so that's where live chat might come in handy, having, utilizing a separate platform to manage these chats. But over live chat, you can answer visitors' questions in real time. So regardless of what page they're on, what content they're reading, maybe they're already on the checkout page and they just have one final question that they need kind of maybe reassurance on. If you have live chat enabled on your site, you can be right there ready to respond to them and hopefully carry them over that finish line to purchase the product or service that you're offering. And going along with live chat, one kind of misconception is that you don't always need to be sitting at your computer or online if you have live chat enabled on your website. It's perfectly fine, if you're kind of like a one-man or one-woman team, to not be accessible all the time. And so you can kind of maybe set a schedule for yourself, maybe 9 to 5, maybe 10 to 4, for when you want to kind of allow yourself to be online and be available to chat with your website visitors and or your existing members. And so many of these live chat website plugins, whether it's live chat or Facebook or anything else, they do still have the ability where when you're offline, you can still accept messages. So typically there will be kind of like a default offline message. And if people still want to get in contact with you, they can just submit a message. And whenever you're back on your computer, you can respond at that time. Additionally, with live chat and Facebook specifically, or Facebook Messenger, I should say, they both have mobile apps. So even if you're not at your desk or on your computer and you do still want to be accessible, you can still chat with your website visitors on your mobile device.
And I just want to say also, it's not just about answering questions, but live chat is a great way to deal with potentially upset customers or customers that are having, or members that are having a not so favorable experience on your site. So it's a great way to minimize potential negative reviews that you might receive, because you can identify and connect with people who are probably having trouble, and you can deliver that level of service in real time to them. And then also, there's a million of these chat tools out there. It's not just live chat and Facebook chat, but whatever tool you use, a lot of them have a mobile app with them, so you can basically answer chat messages on the go and in real time. So you don't always have to be sitting at a computer with the chat module enabled, but you can just accept them like you accept text messages from your friends and family, and you can always turn it off whenever you want as well, if you're not in a place to answer those chat messages. But it really gives you an opportunity to catch potential missed opportunities and also help resolve issues quicker with customers who might be having an unfavorable experience with your product or service.
Yeah, that's a great point. The other thing to keep in mind is that live chat, it can also function as kind of a either psychological or emotional tool to kind of help build trustworthiness with these potential members. Them seeing that even if you're offline, that you are still available to them can provide certain level of trustworthiness that they may not perceive from your website or your business if you weren't to have that. If you were to just have a typical contact us page. The other thing to consider with the live chat is maybe if you don't want to have a phone number for your website, you don't want people to be calling you, you can offer live chat as an alternative. So going on to the second tip, coupon codes. Again, this is something we've discussed in previous webinars, but one thing to consider if you do have coupon codes enabled on your website is that when somebody goes to a checkout page, if they see the coupon code box and they don't have a coupon code to use, it may not necessarily discourage them from signing up all the time, but it does let them know that they're not getting the best deal possible. And so what you can do to combat this is to publicly offer just a modest discount. It could be 10% off your first payment, or maybe 5% off all membership payments. But the goal is to at least provide these new members with a small discount if they don't already have a coupon code. And again, you don't want to discourage people from signing up if they don't have a coupon code and they see on that checkout page when they're about to press the buy button, oh, I have the option to enter a coupon code, but I don't have one. So I could potentially be saving money here. So offering that public coupon code can help push people across that finish line. And going along with that is you could also privately offer either to your Facebook group, your email list, maybe your existing members, if you just want to kind of do maybe like an upgrade promotion, is you can privately offer a larger discount. So maybe instead of just 10% off of their first payment, you're offering them 10% off of all of their membership payments. So there's a few different ways you can go about offering coupon codes, but the big thing to remember here in this example is that if you are offering coupon codes and you do have the feature enabled on the checkout page, you don't necessarily want to make people feel bad or discourage them from signing up if they don't already have a coupon code to take advantage of. And the biggest thing to keep in mind when you are utilizing coupon codes is you don't want to over discount your membership plans. You don't want to offer 60, 70, 80% off of your membership plan. Sometimes financially that could be feasible to do. If you're not really offering a physical product or any actual service that requires your time, you could offer a huge discount like that. But if you do that, it could reduce the perceived value of that membership plan. When somebody uses a coupon code and they get 75% off, they may end up thinking, well, what's the true value of this? Is it really worth what I'm paying for? So that's just something to consider when you're using coupon codes. And something we haven't talked about in previous webinars is identifying what are called abandoned checkout pages, or on e-commerce sites, they're called abandoned shopping carts. So sometimes people, they start the buying process, maybe like on Amazon, for example, you might put some products in your shopping cart, but you don't actually check out. You end up leaving Amazon. Maybe you come back to it later, maybe you don't. That's what would be considered an abandoned shopping cart. Same thing goes for an abandoned checkout page, like on a membership website. You obviously don't have a shopping cart, but somebody may go to your checkout page, and then they might just leave. They might not end up completing that purchase. And so it could be a big value to you if you're able to identify those users who come to your checkout page who at least show a decent amount of interest in moving forward with the membership, but don't actually complete that purchase. So it doesn't always necessarily mean that they've had cold feet for some reason. Maybe something came up and they had to leave their computer for whatever reason, run out of the house. Maybe their power went out, so they lost the browser windows that they had open. It could be a variety of reasons. And so it could really help to identify those users and kind of remind them or give them a little nudge. Hey, you showed interest in this. Maybe you want to complete the purchase now. So there's a couple tools that we can use to identify abandoned checkout pages rather than relying on those potential customers to come back on their own and finish the job themselves. There are certain tools out there. ActiveCampaign and Infusionsoft are two of the most popular ones. They allow you to kind of create email lists and target email sequences to these sorts of website visitors. It can get a little complex, could also potentially get a little bit pricey. So if you don't want to move in that direction, an alternative would be to utilize remarketing ads. Social media platforms like Facebook and Google as well offer these kinds of tools with their ad platform, so you can specifically target these potential members who have gone to your checkout pages, and then you can send them targeted ads. You might not want to make it too obvious, like, hey, you almost checked out, but you didn't yet. Why don't you come over and finish the checkout? But you might want to advertise additional links on your website, whether it's some of your content or maybe a coupon code that they can use just to remind them that, hey, you're out there. They showed interest, maybe they're still interested. So you just want to kind of maintain, being top of mind with them. So like I said, a little nudge may be all they need to complete their purchase. And if you can utilize remarketing ads or even utilizing a platform like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft, that could really help you identify those potential members who did show a lot of interest by going to the checkout page, but didn't quite complete that process.
And I'd say this is one of the more complex suggestions and tips that we're providing today because you need to identify the URL that they visited and whatnot. There's a couple things you can do, and I just want to elaborate on this one for abandoned checkout pages. As I mentioned before, with the lab updates today, it really is about collecting that email address. And probably, I don't know the exact percentage, but let's say 80% of people who come to your site, they're just in the awareness stage, meaning they're trying to get information. They're not ready to pull out their wallet and make a commitment yet. So what we want to do is we want to provide them with other things to do instead of signing up. So those could be, landing pages that allow them to enter a contest or to get an ebook or some kind of PDF file from you, some information or related content that gives them something of substance and value that they'll exchange their email address for. So the best way to do an abandoned checkout is, first of all, get them in your ecosphere with capturing their email. And once you have that, you can provide them with good newsletter content and whatnot. And that's the best way to keep them in your in your universe. The second point that David has here about remarketing ads on Facebook and Google. So we all know if you go to Amazon and you look at a pair of shoes and then you go to another website, you see ads about the same Amazon shoes you were just looking at. Those are remarketing campaigns. It's called remarketing is because you were already on their site, so they're going to remarket to you and try to get you to get interested again on what you were looking at. For those of you who are somewhat familiar with remarketing ads, let me tell you the two URL rules that you'd want to include in your remarketing campaign, so we can go a little deeper here. So the first thing is it's for people who didn't sign up. So basically, if you're going to create a remarketing campaign for abandoned checkouts, let's say, you want people who have not visited their account/homepage. That means that they didn't sign up, they didn't log in to their account because that is the designated member dashboard page account homes. I'm going to share this with you guys in a notepad here. So not visited account home and visited basically any page that has /checkout. The ID number is the ID of that membership plan. You could get more specific, but basically if they visited a page /checkout. So when you're creating your remarketing rules, it's for people who have not visited account home, but who have visited /checkout. And then you can create ads that could get those people more interested. Maybe they just want to see top 10 ways, X, Y, and Z. Just keep giving them more useful content. But that's kind of how you'd want to create those rules. And then you could use Google AdWords or Facebook ads. And then, of course, you can create remarketing campaigns for these people.
Excellent info there. And so this fourth and final tip, under the table trial periods. So we've discussed the benefits of offering free trial periods to your members in previous webinars. There's benefits to offering free trials. There's also some businesses that prefer not to give away their product for free, even if it is for a limited time, maybe 7 days or 30 days. But there is statistics to show that free trials do help to increase conversion rates. You can either offer free trials by requiring a credit card upon sign up and then just charging it later, or not requiring a credit card. Currently, with the free trial period add-on that we offer, it does still require users to enter their credit card when they're signing up for the trial. But as you can see in this table, free trials that do require a credit card upon sign up have a much higher conversion rate. These are just some examples from some other websites that charge for memberships or for their software. And you can see the conversion rates based on people who have tried their free trials and have entered their credit card upon that initial sign up. Varies depending on the industry, but it can go as high as 30% higher conversion rate when you do require a credit card upon sign up. But if you're not willing, if you kind of fall into that pool of you don't really feel like it would be beneficial to kind of offer your product or your services to the public for free, you can offer an under the table trial period. And so on the next slide, you can test free trials privately to see if they really will work or not for what it is you're offering, by providing them privately to, again, either your email list, your Facebook group, or if you have contact information for any other of your potential members, you can send them a note privately and say, hey, this is an exclusive offer. You can sign up for free. First 30 days maybe, or 14 days are free, so that you can see what we have to offer and test out our website. And so doing it this way, you're providing free trials to these already kind of pre-qualified potential customers, because you do have them in an email list or in your Facebook group. So that these are the specific type of customer that you do want to target and that you do want to have signed up to your website. Whereas if you're just kind of offering it to the public, if you just have a link or an image or a call to action on your website saying, hey, sign up for a free trial, you're kind of opening the door up to everyone and anyone who's visiting your website. So this could be a good alternative to kind of gauge how successful offering a free trial may be on your website.
So that's really cool. And again, it ties back to the BD Lab update, the ability to create a form quickly and placing it on a landing page, because what you're suggesting here, David, are people who have already entered like an email list on your site. So the first step is, okay, how do I create that email list? And it really ties into creating a landing page with an offer, like a contest or something like that, where you can start collecting those email addresses, and then you can do follow-up marketing by offering them like a free trial period if they're not yet a member on your site. Is that what you're suggesting here?
Exactly. And what you could also do is you could tie this back into the remarketing ads. You can, maybe you want to send specific ads to users who have visited the landing page that you have for this private free trial period.
Gotcha. Very good. So requires a little bit of work and setup, but this is about creating your funnel and how you convert prospective members or visitors into paid members. And really this is, if we combine some of these together, you can really increase the sales and increase conversions. And I can already tie in a few of the things you mentioned here based on what you're saying. Let's go back to point one for a second, utilizing a live chat. Let's say you don't even want to man the live chat tool. You can choose to just have live chat on your checkout pages And you can always have like a pre-made welcome message with all these live chat features. Just put, would you like 10% off your order today? Enter your email here. And then the auto response for that chat message could be the coupon code. So what you've done is you've put live chat just on your checkout pages. You've implemented an abandoned checkout technique because you're asking them for their email address to get an instant 10% off from today's purchase or whatever it is. So that can assist with, let's say they don't finish the transaction, but they filled out that live chat form, pre-survey form on the live chat tool. And then if you collect that email address later, you could provide them with an under the table free trial period if they happen to have not signed up on that checkout page on that day, if you did successfully collect an email address from them. So all of this working together can really help increase and give you an edge on your conversion rate from prospective member / visitor into an actual paid member of your community. And I'm sure there's tons of other things that could be done, but these seem really good here, David. Thank you for putting this together. All right, so let's do this. You guys might have questions about the tip of the week of today or the lab updates or just some general questions about your website. We do have some time today to take some questions, so please feel free to type it in or use the raise your hand tool, and we will try our best to get to as many questions as possible here.
Pauline asked a really good question. She typed it in. She was asking, in the member dashboard, the two forms that members can fill out, the additional details and the contact details. Obviously, you can edit those forms, but how would you customize those forms and assign them to different membership plans? So have different members answer different questions.
That's a really good question. I'll kind of show you exactly what to do there. So what she's referring to is, and let me just show everyone, let me log in we're back to our demo site here. Let me log in as a sample member here. So your members can fill out basically, in effect, their contact details and their listing details, also their about section. But basically, there's plenty of inputs here to collect data from your members. In general, unless you're going to remove stuff, I think the contact details form is pretty boilerplate and straightforward. You can certainly add more items here. But let's look at the listing details, for example. So this is a form in your form manager that's provided to you to fill out. And what you can do is you can customize the form and you can keep it the same, or you can add new fields to it here. So in Pauline's question, she has different membership levels that cater to different members who would provide different types of data. So what you would do in that case is two things, and I can do it right here on the sample site. We can actually go ahead and do it. If we go to the sample site, I think you can just search for additional. So this is the listing additional details form. So we can go ahead and customize this. And it needs you to change something here. So I'll just put some text there. So here's the key. If you want to keep it the same for the rest of your membership levels, what you want to do is change the form variable name. And just a small caveat, it needs to have the word listing in it if you're going to assign it to a membership level. So again, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to put Pro Plan. This form will then only be for the Pro Plan members. And let me also do that here. Pro Plan. I'll put it at the end here. So this will be Pro Plan. And I'll go ahead and save the changes. Okay, great. So now we have this form customized, listing additional details, member Pro Plan. It's only now, what I want to do is right now it's not doing anything. It's just a form in my form manager. So what you can do, Pauline, is now that we've done that is go to your membership plans, go to whatever plan you want. We'll just use the premium one in this example. And I think this is what's really cool about the platform now is you can go to the profile tab, and if you're wondering what form's currently being used, first of all, it's listed here. So if you want to know what to search for to clone in your form manager, you can come see it here. So in this case, listing additional details member, for these guys, we want to use the listing additional details member Pro Plan form. So now, whatever customizations or edits I've done on that form, it will be the premium members will use this form when filling out their profile. and that's all that you need to do. So again, you can change the input fields, you can add or remove or edit them, and there is a video that we did in Rick's Corner a few webinars ago. I do want to share this also. Let me search for the word fields. Here it is, how to customize member profile form fields for your target market. So this is just how to edit the form field. So it'll show you how to do that. But with what I showed you right now is how you can edit them and also create duplicate forms with small modifications to them and reassign them to different membership levels. All right, good question there. We have Rich C. How you doing, Rich?
Great, Jason.
All right.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the the options for claim listings.
Sure.
So I don't know if you can take a look at my website. It's podcastersdirectory.com.
All right. Is there a specific page or just a profile I should go to?
Yeah, like a profile specifically on the homepage.
Okay. Okay. So
just scroll down to like the members. There's two different member sections right below the member spotlight. Yeah. And then click on Williams, the second row, as an example. Yeah. So we've uploaded some people, and then we added the feature right there with the claim the listing button. But if we have a list of people, say 500 people, and we use like another email service to kind of announce this, is there any way to kind of embed in that email that when Williams opens the email, they'll be directed just to this page instead of the general page? Or in other words,
absolutely, yes. I totally understand what you're saying. So you're going to be using a third-party like email
like
solution,
MailChimp or
like MailChimp. Okay, so when you import these records into MailChimp, it's going to ask you to have their first name, their email address, and whatever other like phone number, whatever data that you want to add, because then you can use that in the email templates, right, to personalize them.
Yeah.
So what's really cool is if you go to your search members page,
right,
if you export the member results that you've imported. So here's what's really cool is you can export a ton of data with this.
Yeah.
One of them is the full file name. So that's their URL for their profile. So you can export this with the full file name, and then you can include that link because you have it as part of you're going to import it into MailChimp as a personalization token or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can include that link so they can go check out their profile on your site.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So basically, the button, we could rate it wherever, but claim your listing, or we've created is there any jargon that you think works better to say update your profile, or your profile has been somewhat created, or
you can say like view and claim your profile now, because it's kind of like a two-step action there. Something like that. You can also, like in your sentences, like hey John Smith, we've created a profile for you, and then just created a profile for you, make that linkable text, even though it's just part of a regular paragraph. But again, you might want to test different emails. Don't email the whole batch at one time. Maybe just test like 10% of them and see what the response rate is. You definitely will probably need to make some tweaks, and that way, when you want to email your larger batch, you'll have a better idea of what those conversions would be. I do have another suggestion for you as well.
Okay.
You are able to move this to the top. I would recommend that if I can do that for you, because it's a little more prominent. So let me show everyone where that setting is. If you go to membership plans, so I'm assuming you have a claim membership plan here. This one here, speakers. So if you click on edit, and under additional settings, you have member profile page. I think it's right here, the make a connection or claim listing banner. You could put it above the profile photo. And let me just save that. And, and now it has a little stands out a little bit more here.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, you can export and you can get what's called full _ file name. So you can test it out with a sample if you want and make sure it's working properly before you actually email them.
So if you can hang on that screen, so did I do it correctly as far as, so that's under pricing then? Is it the pricing option is free, paid, or claim listing, right? Under the membership plan itself?
Yes. So under the pricing, these are your claim listing members.
Okay.
Claim.
Okay. Yeah. So if I leave it as claimed, all those people will be able to claim it. Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. I know when people click on the claim listing, you've created this pricing page. Again, you may want to try different things. What I've seen work really well is instead of taking them, because you can define the page that they're taken to when they click the link on their profile. You've already done it. You've done join guest. Yeah. You may want to consider taking them directly to a checkout page, like checkout 3, and just make it like, again, you can do it free to claim the listing, or maybe like $5 one time to claim the listing. And then after they're claimed, you can push them on your other upgradable membership options. But making it really simple for someone to claim, you don't always have to get, because you're just adding an extra decision-making hurdle for them. And when you add 3 options, now it's times 3. So you just might want to make, like, again, I'm just using an arbitrary number here, $5 or $10 just to claim the listing, and it gives them just a little bit more the ability to edit their content. And then later in the member dashboard, you can put, or email campaigns, you can create opportunities to upgrade them to your more formal plans here that you have, which are the Rockstar or the All-Star.
Yeah, I totally like that idea. Can you click on that the one you just did? If they're already in the system and it's claiming the listing, and you clicked on the button down there to buy it now or whatever, to that, yeah. So if they're already in the system and we already have their email, how does that work as far as, is it going to create a duplicate listing?
It's not going to create a duplicate listing. If someone is claiming a listing, it will update the email address that's currently on file, because this would most likely be the correct one, but it's not going to create a duplicate record. It's going to just update their email on file, because if they're going to pay, chances are they're going to be inputting their email correctly twice here, and then obviously creating a login password.
Yeah, that's perfect, because if they are using the same email that we've entered, it'll just take care of it. But if they have a different email, but it's going to basically upgrade that account that we've already created for them, and keep all of their content that we've already imported.
Yes, it will keep everything. Yeah. It will keep everything. It will just, in this case, it'll just update their email on file, and rightly so, because they might have a better contact email that they want to use in that for correspondence.
No, that's awesome. That's a game changer and a time saver. And because I've been trying to rack my head around, if we send out 100 emails, how are they going to know that it goes right to their claim listing that we spent all the time creating? So just putting the file name in there, that was monumental. Appreciate that.
All right, you got it. Good questions there. Thank you so much, Rich.
Thanks again.
Good stuff. All right, good stuff. There's utilizing the claim listing, and a lot of the claim listing stuff. It really comes down to psychology. We really need to make it easy to claim for people to claim their listings, and you really need to make a compelling argument as to why they should, pay to claim their listing, or even, register for free to claim that listing on your site. And a lot of it is social proof and the trustworthiness of your brand and how it relates to the industry that you're serving. So good stuff there. Great domain name here, Podcasters Directory as well. So with that said, we are just about out of time. If I missed your questions, please join us in the Facebook group. I'll just backtrack on the slides here. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Please, I encourage you to ask your questions there. I'm on there as well as fellow Brilliant Directories users. So if you're wondering how to do a workaround or to set something up in a certain way, you can definitely get some assistance and guidance there. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. We knock out about 2 webinars each month, one every 2 weeks. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. On behalf of myself and David and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Have an awesome day and a brilliant week. Take care, guys.